What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I'll be your host today. I am recording from my home. We're having some issues with our LED wall, and so we're coming at you live from David's house. Welcome back, guys. What the hell is going on with crypto, with Bitcoin? Let me move the chat over here. I am riding solo today. I wanted to come and give you guys some updates, some alpha, what I got my eyes on, what I got my money in. Also, share some trades with you guys. And so if you're here, welcome. Do me a favor. Make sure you're talking in the chat. Questions, whatever you need, just throw it in there. We'll make sure we get to it. So let's talk about BTC. Let me go ahead and throw this sucker on here. So I did hit a trade this morning. I also lost a trade this morning. So this one right here. Got in at, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. It's my personal. So got in at 92,608. Got out at 92,164. This was a Bitcoin short. This was my position here. Again, got in at 92,608. Now I did pull profits a little early. I pulled profits here right around 92,120. But this thing did dip all the way down. Nice wick to 91,208. I talked about this level, guys, 92.5 being a very, very important level for Bitcoin to stay above. And we gave it all back in 2 hourly candles or 1 2-hour candle. Now on the move back up, guys, once we do get back up to that 92.520, I do expect Bitcoin to get rejected. This was a big liquidation event. Take a look here. Where were the liquidations? Here we go. 1 hour, $126 million was liquidated from the markets, with 97.5% of them being in longs, with a majority of it. Well, first time I haven't seen Binance up here. Hyperliquid leading the way. 99% of longs on Hyperliquid got liquidated. Wondering how much of that was James Wynn or Andrew Tate or all those famous people that trade on there. But guys, you know, first glance, this is not good. This kind of reminds me of, we zoom out to the 4-hour. This kind of reminds me of this price action here, where we saw rallies. We saw a couple of, a few 4-hour closes above, and then we went right back down. Here again, couple of big wicks to the upside, gave it all back. Pushed up, didn't quite close, but did wick above that 92.5, and then downside. So that is my fear of what's happening right now. Not necessarily a fear, but in terms of expecting the price action to continue, expecting some momentum and velocity behind the move. For Bitcoin to give back, I mean, when we look at this, you guys, look at this 2-hour candle. We engulfed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We engulfed almost the last 7 green candles on the 2-hour time frame in 1 2-hour trading session, which was started at 8 a.m. Pacific time until 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so not really good. Again, this thing could reverse. It could have been just a washout, a flush, because when you take a look at numbers, not ads, you can take a look at numbers. Since the beginning of the year, we've seen well over $1 billion flow into Bitcoin via the ETFs. I do have some other ETF news I want to share. Take a look at the Ethereum ETF. This saw some pretty good inflows as well. 2 consecutive 100 million plus day inflows, starting on January 2nd. 174 million flowed in, 168 million flowed in on the 5th. And we'll see what happens today. There was news. Where's the piece of news? This was pretty big news, you guys. Morgan Stanley. Okay, now I'll tell you why this is important and why this is, and I'm keeping my eye on the Bitcoin chart as well, as we're seeing a little bit more of a spill off right now. But Morgan Stanley just filed for a spot Bitcoin and a Solana ETF. Now, ask yourself this question. Typically, when we see ETFs filed, when they see companies file multiple ETFs, what is it usually? It's usually Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum is shockingly missing from this filing here. And so is that by mistake? I don't think so. I think they purposely went with Solana instead of Ethereum. What does that say about Wall Street, Morgan Stanley, what they think of Ethereum versus Solana, what they're more bullish on? If you want to take anything away from that, go ahead. Morgan Stanley, listen to this from Matt Hogan. Morgan Stanley manages 20 ETFs but mostly under the Calver, Parametric, Eaton, Vance brands. These will be the third and fourth ETFs ever to bear the Morgan Stanley brand. Okay? So to say this was off-brand would be correct. Pretty remarkable. This was posted again by Matt Hogan and an Andrew AP Abacus that speaks to demand extraordinary. And so you guys remember Morgan Stanley just came out. I think it was late last year in 2025. They told their financial advisors, I think it was 2 to 4% allocation to crypto. They opened up crypto products to their investment advisors to offer to their clients. And now they decided to jump into the game themselves with their third and fourth ETFs ever being a Bitcoin spot and an Ethereum spot, or excuse me, a Solana spot ETFs. What does that mean for Solana? Let's take a look at Solana price action. Did it change? Did Solana rally? I haven't looked at a Solana chart, but I doubt it because Bitcoin is down and we know crypto moves simultaneously. Now, Solana didn't have nearly as bearish of a pullback on the 2-hour time frame. This thing only engulfed the last like 4 green candles. We are starting to see a little bit of a reversal here. We did give up these lows, which we didn't want to see. We wanted to stay above 137.59. If we can stay above 133.78, then this rising channel, this rising price action, higher highs, if you take a look macro wise, right, this low I would say is the most important low on this chart to remain above. So we can say that we are still trading above or still currently in an uptrend. And that level, my friends, let me drop a flag here, is 133.80. I think, you know, back in 2024, when all these ETFs were announced and people were excited and, oh my God, it's going to pump the price. I'm hoping you watching, because me, myself, I've kind of put that aside. ETFs launching doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bullish case for price action, or price is going to automatically shoot up because this company filed an ETF. They've never done it. But at the end of the day, if we take a look at what happened with Bitcoin back in 2024 when it first launched, we saw an initial spike and then it chopped sideways for 6 to 9 months and then it started to rally. Are we going to see something similar with these new ETF applications on these new altcoins? Potentially, but don't buy into the hype of its launch. An ETF is launched for certain altcoins and try to jump in and front run that trade. I think that meta, never took off and you'll kind of get stuck. But 133.80 for Solana. But this does open the door for a lot more investors to get access to Solana. In fact, I want to see Solana ETF flows here. Look at that. Not a single negative ETF flow for Solana, tracked by Bitwise, VanEck, Fidelity, 21 shares, Franklin Templeton, and Grayscale. Cumulative 791 million has flowed in with not a single red day. Add in staking. What is that going to do to the Solana network? So keep your eye on Solana. Rob talks about this all the time. Not only Solana, though, you got to keep your eye out on the ecosystem as well. All right. Let me cut to my camera here. Let me pull up the chat. I'm going to say hi to some people. Mike Volmer, Snekadelic, what's up, man? Prognista said, got a studio, never on time, priorities kick. All right. Yes, we could probably get better on getting the live show going on time, but shit happens, my friend. If you've ever run a live production, you'll know. Craig Cat said, I have the flu, home on the couch. Hope you feel better, my friend. Ricky said, Tau is printing. Ricky, are you the one that sold your Bitcoin for Tau? I don't know how I feel about selling Bitcoin for Tau, but definitely love that you have a Tau position. You guys know Tau is my biggest altcoin bag that I have currently. Wispy said they only buy OTC. It'll affect price to the downside. Yes, not to mention them hedging in the futures market and essentially arbitraging the middle. And it's a guaranteed income, guaranteed money. And so I always got to keep our eye on that as well. All right. Snekadelic says short-term bearish. I think the answer, Snekadelic, lies in what Bitcoin does next. I am never tied to one sentiment, one narrative, one direction. I was bullish when we broke above. We got this retest. We pushed up to that 95K region. I was bullish. And I said yesterday, and I'll continue to say it again, 92.5 for me is where I draw the line. And I said, I want to see a few daily candles close above 92.5. Well, guess what? Here are your daily candles. And we've only had one close above 92.5. And that has been the theme of this price action here for BTC really since November 18th of 2025. It's been close above, sell off, close above, sell off, close at, sell off, and now close above, sell off. Now this daily candle still has around 5 hours and 15 minutes left, so we may very well get a reversal. Price starts to move up, and this candle closes green. I think it's the way it's looking like it's unlikely, but hey, you never know. We might get a big bid. We might get some bullish news. I don't know. But either way, with Bitcoin down, what's going to happen to altcoins? I'll talk about that. I'm going to give you some of my favorite AI picks. You guys know I've been bullish on AI. I continue to be bullish on AI. And I do think there's a lot of money to be made in the intersection of artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency, specifically in the infrastructure, and I'll share some of my favorite plays with you as well. Then if you guys are wondering what the hell happened, Bitcoin faces a big boy sell wall at 95K as price struggles versus gold. Now I was trying to look at some a liquidation heat map here and see, and well, if you zoom in to the 1 week, there's definitely some liquidity sitting up here at that 95K region, 95.1. You can see the lighter shaded color, the more money sits there waiting to be tapped in. You do have another big liquidation zone down here at 89.106. So if price continues to push to the downside, you do have some smaller liquidity levels. You have one here at 90.4K, but the bigger one here, guys, is going to be sub 90,000, 89.106. If price does continue to dip down there, I do expect the buyers to step in and bid the price. We had that big options expiry at the end of December, and I really thought the range would break, but it looks like with the price action we're seeing, the range is still intact. And the range I'm talking about is we are currently above $92,000 on BTC, seeing a little bit a nice recovery here. I do want to see this volume. Ideally, if we want to talk about, hey, this was just a forced liquidation, one big candle sell off to the downside, and we're going to resume the upside trend. I want to see this volume bar on this 2 hour eclipse these two here. If we do that, then I think there's some hope. And also, I want this price to close at or above $93,140. So still a little ways to go for Bitcoin. So I think this 2 hour candle, which is another hour and 10 minutes away, so at 3 p.m. Eastern time, which coincides with when the market's about to close, if Bitcoin's price can remain above $93,130, I do think at that point we can talk about pushing back up to the 95K again. But be careful, if we are going to get into any longs on the way up there, we got to make sure we TP right before we hit that 95K level, even a little lower, 94.6, 94.7-ish, to kind of wait and see, what does Bitcoin do? Do buyers step in and then kind of add fuel to the fire? You see the largest volume node on this 2 hour chart sits right here at 93,846, which is where Bitcoin fell through, got rejected, and then had that big blood diamond and that massive 2% 2 hour candle to the downside. Bitcoin is approaching a key level, that VWAP lower band, which is at 92,285. So expect some potential friction there for the bulls as the bears will try to push the price back down. But we'll see what happens with the price of Bitcoin, and we'll come back to that. Let's take a look at the top gainers, what the top 10 is doing. BTC up still 4% on the 7-day with a market cap of 1.8 trillion. ETH was having a really nice rally, pretty flat on the hour, flat on the day. XRP at $2.24. That had a massive spill off as well. BNB at 901. Solana 137.58. We talked about the key levels there. And then Doge up 18% on the week, bested only by XRP in terms of top 10 biggest gainers, with number 3 coming in with Cardano finally above 40 cents again, up 16%. And Bitcoin Cash, I want to take a look at a Bitcoin Cash chart. Now, this was a trade I got in a while ago, and I made some money there, but Bitcoin Cash has been rallying. Let's take a peek here. Look at that beautiful uptrend, man. I mean, just picture perfect. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Even the little mini lower high, but higher low. And then, of course, higher high. If it can stay above 593.50, then this trend is intact for Bitcoin Cash. Not anything I'd put any significant amount of money in, not anything that I'm adding to my portfolio, but for a scalp trade, as long as we can stay above and some confluence there as well, 590 is our highest volume node area for Bitcoin Cash trading on the daily time frame. 590 is the level. If we can stay above that, I'd expect a new high to be put in, somewhere around $682 to $700, which if you get into that trade, we're talking about a 15 to 20% move to the upside. Okay. I do want to take a peek at crypto bubbles on the day. Render, Tau, Rain. Not sure where Rain is, but I know Render and Tau are AI plays. Guys, AI is not going anywhere. I still believe there's a lot of money to be made in the AI sector, and I will be sharing some of my favorite AI plays. But first, I got a lot of messages here. Let me make sure that everything's going good. Okay. Everything's going great. All right, I want to talk about this. G-Tau, BitTensor Tau. This is the Grayscale Trust, up 22% on the day. You take a look at the month. This thing was trading at $5.81. BitTensor, Ricky Romero said is ripping. It is ripping. It was ripping. Let's take a look at where price is now. This thing was on a massive roll, and then, well, Bitcoin kind of had a little bit of a pullback. Tau is still trading above $280. I mean, this is just beautiful. This is beautiful, right? Solid green candles, increasing volume, meeting resistance at 297, which you guys just pulled up the chart. That's been a level that I've been eyeing. And so if you got into a short here, you're in the green. But once we clear that 297, my friends, it's the Sahara Desert here. There's nothing here, okay? Until we get up to 391. When I say nothing here in terms of volume, right? So we clear above, trade it up to 391. It's a 30% move. Ricky, your bags will grow by 30%. You watching, if you're looking to scalp or trade, your trading account will grow by 30%. Speaking of trading accounts, if you don't have one or you're looking for one, Bitunix is the shit. I've been using them. I love it. Their interface is great. Liquidity is amazing. I think they just gave me like a $200 bonus as well from their like mystery box or whatever. And so also, if you go join our Discord, I'm going to shill our channel here real quick. If you go over to Discord, Bitunix is doing something special. All you got to do is go to Discord. It's free. Go to VIP access, click this. And all you got to do is click the link, create an account, deposit $100, and you'll receive a $20 trading bonus. That's it. $100, $20 trading bonus. All you got to do is sign up, use the link. Discord description is in, Discord link is in the description of this video. So for Tau, let's take a look at the lower time frame. Also, guys, again, if there's anything you'd like me to take a look at or anything that you are kind of curious about or my thoughts, please throw it in the chat. I want the stream to be focused on you guys. I am flying solo today. And so this was a last minute pivot, doing it from my home. So I didn't have time to get a bunch of articles and stuff prepped. So we're just going to kind of go over the markets. I'll give you some of my favorite picks, what I'm keeping my eye out on, what I've deployed capital into. And then I also want to get into the chat here as well. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. Nothing we're seeing on the 4 hour. Do like take a look at market cipher indicators here. That's actually how I got into that Bitcoin short, blood diamond plus trigger wave short on market cipher B. 2 hour uptrend is still intact here as long as Tau can stay above 270.08. 274.33. Right? If we can stay above this low, then uptrend is still intact, and we should put in a new local high for BitTensor. But just a beautiful rally, increasing volume, right? Outside of these two red candles, every green spike volume was above the red candle day volume. 1 hour time frame. Now, what we can do too as well, for those of you like, okay, David, I love Tau, I want to get in. Where should I get in? Let's go ahead and draw our Fibonacci retracement. And let's take a peek at where we can see Tau settle in. Right now, it's getting a bounce off of that 236 level here. But the level I'd be eyeing, if you're patient enough, which I do think if Bitcoin continues to go down, is currently above 92K. If we can, I'd be targeting for a double-fisted long entry or a double-fisted buy, 258.97. This is your 50% fib level. You see what happened on the way up. It got rejected, came back down below the gold pocket. And of course, this is before the high was put in. But regardless, looking back at it, look back at it, you know what I'm saying? So bad. Q Rob's weird stare. Rejection, settling in, and then that's where we had that second leg up from that 50% fib level, rallied around 15%. If we do break these lows and come back down, I expect Tau to catch a bid at we'll just call it 260, okay? 259, 260. If you can get in here, I'd be looking to get into a long. Now, not anything that I am willing to put a limit order in, because I think the markets, they're not clear in one direction, right? We're kind of in the middle. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Should we deploy all our capital? Should we save some? I don't think we should deploy all our capital. We should definitely have some dry powder on the side. I think until Bitcoin breaks and stays above 100K for at least 5 trading days, 5 daily candles, at that point we can, enter the markets with more confidence. But right now, I am in buy the support and scalp my profit kind of zone of crypto, or kind of where I'm at. And so for me, I'm waiting for price to come back down here, seeing what it does. Do we get a strong bid? Do we get strong increase in volume? Work your way down to the lower time frames, the 1 hour. You can see here just what happens at this key level: consolidation, move, rejection, big spill off, and then a few bounces here. And so go ahead and do this. Pull up your chart if you're interested in this potential trade. Go right click, create an alert. When price crosses below 260, set an alert, come back to the chart, take a peek. And hopefully, if it does happen, it'll happen on a time frame, or excuse me, on a time that we are live, so I can do this with you. That'd be great. All right. I see HXC back in here. He was a winner of our stake giveaway. I did a $100 giveaway for stake. And so I'm just pulling up the chat. Just going to take a peek, seeing if I missed anything. Ricky said, I didn't sell all of my Bitcoin. I sold some of it for Tau. Okay, fair enough. I've done that too in my cycle to cycle bag, right? I have my forever bag that I don't touch, but I do have a Bitcoin cycle to cycle bag. And so, yeah, short-term bearish, again, depends. Alex Rosa, welcome, Alex. First time I've seen you in here. Said, look at all the ISO 222 coins. Okay, let's do that. Let's take a look at all the ISO 222 coins. Let's see. Are there any results? No, there's no results there. Okay, so we know what they are. They are HBAR. Okay, let's take a peek. All right, HBAR. We're taking a look at. Let's take a look at the week. HBAR up 14%. That's an ISO coin. XLM on the week up 12%. That's an ISO coin. XRP up 20% on the week. That's an ISO coin. Cardano, also an ISO coin, just in case you didn't know, up 16%. I think the easier way would be to do this. I don't think Solana is. Cardano definitely is. XLM, Hedera on the week. I mean, but to be fair, SHIB is up 30% on the week. Is there something specific you want me to say? You wanted me to kind of look over, Alex? Because when you look at the week, nearly everything is up. Now, obviously, some things are up more than others. But, like Pepe's up 60% on the week, and it's not an ISO coin. But either way, if you're bullish on payments, I think having exposure to any sort of ISO coins is a great idea. And so, yeah. Let me just pull this here so you guys can take a peek. Thoughts on night? I'll take a look at the midnight chart. I'll take a look at midnight chart, then I'll go through some of my AI plays, and then I'll come back to the chat. Bitcoin right at 92K flat. Keep that in mind. All right, midnight. I'm kind of in agreement with Rob, man. Just not in favor of buying coins that was given out complimentary, right? That was airdropped. Let's get rid of some of this. Not enough on the day. Let's go to the 6. Little bit of an M pattern here on the 6 hour for midnight, right? There's your double top. And expecting this to form a bear flag and dump Let's see what the measured move on this dump would be. 6 cents. If this plays out, right? You had your initial high, came in, put a higher low, lower high. You can either put an equal high, higher high, or lower high. It doesn't matter. The important thing is, are we going to map out this bear flag? And if you're looking to front run the bear flag, I would just be careful, because obviously the momentum is to the downside. We may very well just completely spill off. We've seen these patterns get invalidated all the time, whether it's a W pattern, an M pattern, a flag pattern, a cup and handle pattern. I mean, if you're going to try to front run and trade this pattern, I would wait for the break below and your first retest up here, and then look to trade this thing and take your profits before we hit 6.5 cents. That is where your key liquidity lies, or your most traded, volume lies, is right there at 6.427 cents. But the measured move is down to 6 cents flat. But this is just from a price action standpoint. Doesn't mean I'm not bullish. I actually like midnight. I know Rob is a little less bullish on midnight than I am. I think it's great. I think when you look at someone like Charles Hoskinson, he's kind of thinking about what he did with Cardano. He talks about all the time what I would have done differently. I would have done this. I wouldn't have used this coding language. And this was his second shot. And I know a lot of people are kind of butthurt. You kind of feel like he pushed THETA to the side and is working on the new thing. But I do think both can complement each other. And I do think privacy is going to be even more important as AI grows and as institutions come into the space. Let's face it, institutions, if it wasn't for the SEC, you think then they wouldn't tell the world their financial statements. They wouldn't share their EPS or their EBITDA or any of those financial information. They only do it because they have to, right? You keep things close to your chest. And so if things are going to come on the blockchain, transactions are going to come on the blockchain, there has to be a privacy element. And we can take a look at what's available. Sure, you have Zcash. Sure, you have Monero. I don't know. I kind of like midnight here, but not anything that I am buying now. I do think we do get tapped into that 6 cent region, regardless of, unless Bitcoin's above 100K, if Bitcoin kind of tinkers around that 92 to 95, I do think we get a dump down to 6 cents. And at that point, then I think I'd be more open to buying midnight, strictly from a price action standpoint, but nothing relative to the actual utility and use case. Okay. Let's talk about artificial intelligence. You guys know I've been steadfast in my belief and in my conviction in Virtual's protocol, and they just updated so they had, what was the first one called? Okay, the first one, I forget what it was called, but you can launch an agent. Then they did Unicorn, and now they're introducing 2 more. And so they're looking to, and I don't know if I'm a fan of this, but then again, I've just made it a point, and I've made a decision to just kind of trust the team. Obviously, they're in the trenches with this stuff more than I am. And so Pegasus, Unicorn, and Titan, these are targeted at different founding groups, different companies, different founders that want to do different things. So primary objective of Pegasus is distribution and early experimentation, versus Titan is credible large-scale market entry. So something, let's say a big VC firm or a big name in Web2 decides they want to use the Virtual's platform to launch an agent, they would probably go with Titan. But it gives a different, it kind of gives different products and services that people with different backgrounds and different needs can use. And so I think it confuses people. But then again, we're talking about forward-facing retail who's not developing anything, who's not launching. And so for the devs, I'm not a dev. Maybe this is something that's beneficial. Maybe they love this. Maybe this is going to make Virtuals rally astronomically. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I have put my faith in the Virtuals team. And so price has gone up. And then I also wanted to show you guys this. This is on the Virtuals app. And I love how they have this. You can see at the center of this is Axelrod. Okay. Now, if you're not familiar with Axelrod, this was, Genesis. That's what it was. Genesis Launch. This is a Genesis Launch token. It's a premier on-chain swap execution agent on base chain. So this is kind of, as you can see, the the central hub infrastructure layer for all of the favorites, Gigabrain, AIXPT, Loki, ETH is an interesting one as well. And when you take a look at the Axelrod price action, guys, we're talking about a high market cap of 30 million, currently sitting at 2.27. If Virtual's ecosystem continues to run, which it has, which I gave you guys a 2x last week, I gave you guys 260% plays last week. If you cashed in, congratulations, you're making more money than 95% of people in crypto. If you didn't, that's okay. You're still up. Facey was at around 8.008. It's at 0.01, so you're still ahead on that one. This one, I believe, I think we caught right the bottom, 81, I think. You're still up 60%, 67% on Facey. Tibber, same thing. Wire, same thing. Maybe not as much, but either way, you're up. We sniped the bottoms on these. And when you take a look at Axelrod, very similar price action to what we saw with Facey. If you zoom out, key level, last time we had this level, we bounced from a 1.5 million market cap all the way up to a high of a 13 million market cap. Nice rounded bottom here. Looks like the bottom is in on virtual agent charts. Now, of course, this can structurally change if Bitcoin decides to dump under, I would say, $85,000. If it does, then, of course, everything will follow along. But for the time being, Axelrod at 2.2 million being kind of the central infrastructure hub of the most popular virtuals agent plays, I think to me is an absolute no-brainer. This is something that if you don't feel like buying now, definitely put it on your radar. Also, you have a little bit, looks like, of an inverse head and shoulders playing out here on Axelrod. As long as we stay above 1.25 million market cap, I like Axelrod. The other one is ETH. Okay, this is something similar to a chart like Tibber, right? Ribita Capital. Okay, we attempted a breakout here, we failed. So for this one, I am showing it to you now, but I don't want you to buy it now. Okay, I want you to wait to see if price dips below. And let's talk in market cap terms because I can't do all these zeros, man. I cannot do all these zeros. Let's go ahead and draw our big, beautiful lines. The greatest lines. Okay, there we go. And here we go. We'll go like that. Okay, we'll draw this down. Am I weird for wanting to have my triangles connect at the end? It really bugs me. Well, maybe I'm OCD. Anyways, I am showing you guys this to put it on your radar. Currently at 3.2 million market cap. If price can remain above 2.57 million market cap and we see a strong bid, watch for the breakout, a push to the upside, potentially retesting this wick high here of around 4 million, and then wait for the pullback and wait to see if volume increases on a retest. If it does, enter here, and you should see a solid 2 to 3x out of ETH. This is strictly from a price action standpoint. We are coming to the end of this, I don't know, should we call this a symmetrical triangle? Yeah, because we're putting in higher lows, lower highs. Symmetrical triangle, this could very well break to the downside. If it does break to the downside, same thing, right? We wait for the break below, retest, and we short this sucker. You can short it on the Virtuals platform via Wasabi protocol. But ideally, we want this thing to break up so the people that aren't on Virtuals protocol or aren't on Virtuals and Wasabi can just go ahead and buy this thing spot and ride that thing up to 5.5 to 6 million market cap. It's a solid 2x. And then the other one I'm still bullish on, guys, I've actually added to my bag is Facey. Unlike Midnight, which is coming into an M pattern, Facey looks like it's putting in a little bit of a wilted W pattern here, okay? And this measured move, I said wilted W pattern, what the fuck? Let's go market cap. Let's go ahead and draw that out again. Oh, and then that's what I wanted to see. Let's throw up RSI. And let's see if we're getting any bullish divergence here. Negative. No bullish divergence. I just wanted to double check that. But either way, bullish W pattern, put in a low, come in, put in a lower low. Ideally, we want to get this thing pushed up to around 12.5, but we haven't. But this thing could still play out like so. And the measured move on this break from this W pattern, which should be to the upside. We're targeting, look at that, the wick high, 14 million, which is a little less than a 2x. And we can go ahead and just measure that move. What does that move give us? That's a 55% move to the upside. Again, you can trade this thing on Wasabi Protocol, or you can just buy spot. That'll be great. Needless to say, I'm bullish on virtuals. And if you want high risk, high reward, dig into the virtuals ecosystem. Let's go ahead and take a look at our virtuals chart real quick. We told you guys last week, I think Rob and I both told you, virtuals under 70 cents is a great play. Let's go to the daily. Don't you love when these lines work out just beautifully? 64.63 cents, guys. If you would have listened and got in, that's an 82% move from a top 100 project. Not too shabby. I do expect a little bit of a pullback, maybe some profit taking here on virtuals. You're kind of starting to see this, right? These candles signify to me that a local top is in. Okay. And now we take our Fibonacci and we figure out where should price settle. You guys know I love the 50% fib level. I would bid heavy on virtuals as long as Bitcoin is above $88,000. I would bid heavy on virtuals at this 50% fib level at 90.61 cents. Expect maybe a little mini bounce here out of your 236. Also coincides with your market cipher ribbon 1 on market cipher A. But I think realistically, we might get a small bounce, tap in at that 117 again, come back down, retest 90.6 cents. If we do, and Bitcoin's above 88,000, I do think virtuals protocol gets a really nice bid and should be able to make some money there. And with virtuals running, so will the agents. Okay. Take a look at the chat. Can I get some steak for free? If you have an account, you can. You can get steak cash for free. ZBT has an interesting chart. I don't know what ZBT is. What's ZBT? Pulse chain. Okay, yeah. Thoughts on ICP? Okay. Thoughts on ICP? Well, let's pull up an ICP chart. Also, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We'll be not doing a trading show today because this essentially has turned into a trading show. Let's get rid of that. And let's go back to ICP chart, daily. I think I don't want to say concern, but from like just a TA standpoint, even this move up was very low volume. I mean, look at this move up, right? You saw a massive spike in volume, 23 million, right? When prior it was hovering around less than a million. Volume was less than a million. We 23x that volume, and that's when you got your follow through, big push, and we ran up to $10. A complete spill off, seeing a little bit of a bounce. Looks like we've double topped here at around $3.47. Volume has increased a little bit, not by much. I mean, you're sitting out here like 1.7 million volume here. You're at 2.9. So not even a 2x in volume on this big push up, and no wonder it hasn't sustained. And so honestly, price action wise, I do expect ICP to retreat back down, to 3.07 cents. Am I bidding there? I don't know. You do have some confluence here with your VWAP lower band right here, right? VWAP volume. So I would expect a strong bid here. Maybe I'd look to scalp there, right? Look to scalp along, but I'd look to get out before we hit $3.38. And let's see if that's even a beneficial move. It would be about 8% move multiplied by your leverage or margin. That's a fairly nice trade on a scalp or maybe even an intraday trade, depending on how fast price action is moving. But if you go to the weekly, I don't know. I think ICP, like last cycle, we could talk about tech and how amazing it is, and it's going to do this, and we can bid heavy. People would bid heavy. Retail would bid heavy in the hopes of this playing out, and oh my God, they're going to revolutionize. Now it's more like, well, who's actually using it? Are people using it? Let's go ahead and pull up the ICP dashboard. Ooh, they changed it. Is it network? Network governance? No. Oh, statistics. Oh, they changed it. Internetcomputer.org, unless I'm on a different platform. I was looking for, view full dashboard. There we go. I was looking at the burn rate. I think that's an important one. I mean, it's obviously fast. The tech is great. Canister smart contracts over 1 million. Power consumption transactions. Cycle burn rate. Here you go. Come. There we go. So let's see. We had the big spike on around, let's go to 1 year. 1 year is flat. Okay. So let's look at when the burn rate had increased, right? This was in the beginning of last year. Okay. Let's go to the chart. Let's look at beginning of 2025. And what do you know? Price was rallying, right? Got to a low around 980, high around $12.83. And once we saw cycle burn rate drop, the price kind of followed along with it. So I think there's a direct correlation here between cycles burned and price action. And so I guess if you want to try to front run price action or kind of have some confluence as far as, hey, I'm in a long, is this thing going to continue to go up? Come to dashboard.internetcomputer.org and go to maybe the 1 month or the 7 day. And are you seeing a spike in cycles burned? If you are, chances are that price, should continue to rise to the upside. If not, then maybe you reevaluate. But in terms of AI, another one I want you guys to keep your eye out on is Venice token, triple V. This was an airdrop I got. I think my airdrop was like 20K or 80K. I forget which one it was. I had two big ones. One was 20K, one was 80K. I forgot which one Venice was. I still have tokens left, and I've had them staked for a while. They were doing like a 60% APR, APY, so I have grown my bag substantially. But an update here, this is on Reddit. They've done a lot of updates. Now, Venice is unique in it gives you access to all the top LLM, like Claude and Gemini and all the LLMs, the large language models. So a couple things. August, right? This was an interesting one. DM. They launched tokenized DM. So the team announced final parameters and launch timing for tokenized DM. Target supply of 38,000, a base mint rate of 90, 10,000 minted by 10,000 DM minted by Venice itself, and an annual Venice token reduction of inflation from 14 million to 10 million starting on launch. So that's another reason I think the price has rallied, up 24% on the week, 88% on the month. Guys, this is one of the few tokens that is up on the year. Okay, $2.10. It is up 315% on the year. If we take a look, just the last 1 week, 25% in the green. Another thing I want to share, they did do, they got 1.3 million users, okay? And this is the interesting one where I think is going to benefit the Venice token and why I think that on the next dip, you should really, really consider adding this to your bag. A new credit system was built to enable scalable economics of video generation. $1 equals 100 credits. 1 DM equals 100 credits per day. And you can get DM by minting it, by burning triple V. So if you got all your airdrop, and then on top of that, you can sell the DM as well for cash, for money. And so I think this is a great flywheel that we haven't, I think we're starting to see a little bit of it play out in price action, but I don't think we've seen the potential of what Venice token can do with DM as more people use it, as it grows. This Eric Voorhees is the gentleman behind this. We know Eric Voorhees is a legend in the DeFi space. He's got a proven track record. And so you're not only betting on AI, you're betting on a great founder and you're betting on great tokenomics. And so keep this on track. And then another one, guys, is Aerodrome. Please remember, Base has teased a Base token Q4 of last year for 3 months, dropping little hints. And then they finally confirmed it. what do you think people will try to do to get the airdrop, right? Typically, airdrop is for people who are using the network, who use the products, who use the services. Well, what is the number one DEX on Base? The DEX that Coinbase themselves have integrated into their main platform is Aerodrome at 58 cents. And we take a look at an Aerodrome chart, and I'm just keeping my eye on Bitcoin 92.1. If we take a look at an Aerodrome chart, sub 60 cents is, in my opinion, an unbelievably great level if you are bullish on Aerodrome Finance. If it plays out like I think it is, and people start to try to farm the base token airdrop, a vast majority. Now, Uniswap is there too. Hydrex is there. There's a few DEXs. Avantis is there. But Aerodrome is king if you look at liquidity, if you look at swaps, if you look at volume. In fact, let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's do that together. Let's go to DeFi Llama. Let's go to Base. Morpho lending number one, right? Your number one DEX, though, is Aerodrome. 489 million in TVL, followed by Uniswap, 310,000 in fees and revenue. If we remove Uniswap, okay, because it is ETH native, sure, you can use it, but a base native DEX, what do you have? You have Avantis, kind of. Hydrex isn't even on here. So Aerodrome, 1.4 million in fees over the last 7 days, which is only second to Uniswap, guys. Real revenue, real fees. And if people start to try to farm this base token airdrop, Aerodrome is going to get a massive use in spikeage. And with their new tokenomics flywheel, I think you'll see a big, big rise in the price of Aerodrome Finance. Do not sleep on that project. And I think we'll be able to make a lot of money doing that. All right, let me go back to the chat here. Let's take a peek. Will you get more base points if you use their base app? I don't know. New type trader, I'm not sure. I don't want to give you a bullshit answer. But at the end of the day, the more you're using base, the more products in base you're using, then I think you'll be good. All right, that'll do it for the show today. I want to thank you all very much for tuning in. I'm hoping we'll be back in studio tomorrow. If not, you'll still get a show. I just want to say I appreciate you guys. I love you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.